Howdy, howdy. Ooh, my fro throwing.
It's fine.
I definitely want to wait a second for people to come up in here.
What up, good people?
Hey, hey.
Happy
How y'all
New
doing?
Year.
Happy New
y'all.
Year. Merry New Year.
Merry New Year. Merry New
Merry
Year.
New Year.
You made it.
You did.
If you ain't know, 24 didn't hold you down.
It didn't.
24 made you grow.
It did.
Bars. Bars.
Woo! Today's episode, we getting into some things.
Spicy.
All right, here y'all come. I see you coming on in here.
Spicy.
You know what I have realized, babe? Is that people go back and watch a lot. Either they go back and watch or it pops up on their feed or something.
Yeah, something happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know, y'all got to talk to us still. We getting a lot of y'all communicating, which is super cool. You know, we got a lot of questions and people.
Hey, Jesse, my
Asking stuff.
godfather is watching.
Oh, yeah?
He is. Hey, Jesse,
What's up,
tell Nick I
godfather?
said hey, and I love y'all so much. We were coming to Dallas. We had planned to come this month, but it looks like it'll probably be next month, maybe, if we can make
We'll
it
be
work.
in the D.
Yes, and so when I come, I'm definitely coming to see you and Mick while I'm there, for
We'll
sure.
be in
Because
the
you got to
day.
meet my boo, like for real meeting.
Hey, Godpapa.
Hey, Godfather. Okay, hey Nina. Today's episode is gonna be pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm. We ain't heavy.
It's a little heavy.
We're just talking real talk.
We
man.
are talking real talk.
Let's talk.
The title of it today is The Victim of the Affair is Not Always the Victim of the Marriage. Now, the reason why we're talking about this, I listened to
Give some shout out. Give some
I have
shout
listened to Savage Lovecast for many years. It's a really good podcast. If anybody is interested, I recommend you go and listen. He always has some folks on there, or from time to time he does. And
Right.
I listened to
What's up,
his
Murphy?
latest episode, who featured Dr. Ester Perrels, who is a psychotherapist, renowned
Renowned.
in relationships, intimacy, sex, all of the things.
Right.
And that is a quote directly from her. The victim of the affair is not always the victim of the marriage. And when I heard that, it hit me like a ton of bricks because I've never thought about it that way. And, you know, I felt like that was something that maybe we needed to dig into a little bit, because a lot of times we always think that the person who had the affair is the perpetrator, right? They are the person that did the wrong thing, all the damage.
Right.
And it's not to absolve the person
Hey, Nisa.
who had, who cheated. It's not to say that that wasn't wrong or there wasn't a betrayal there.
But there was already fractures that led to it the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Let me say that.
Yeah.
So we don't want to act as if infidelity or affairs is because the relationship isn't good.
Right.
Or there are issues in the relationship.
Right.
That's not always the case.
Right.
But for what we mostly talk about, that is the issue. Something's going on. But let's stop acting like the person that actually did the affair is the only bad person in this situation. You know, we got to make sure that we touch all the bases and cover everything.
Right.
What led to it?
Or maybe neither one of them are bad. But
No. Nobody's saying anybody's bad.
But other people are culpable. Other people can be responsible.
And it's a matter of owning your part of it.
Yes. Yes. So I'm gonna let you start.
No,
today.
you on the road.
I always start.
You on the
No,
road.
because
Ladies first, right?
no.
Yes.
Why,
Yes.
baby?
Because I'm sipping.
Okay.
Sipping on my, you know what I mean?
We went, shout out to Liquor Lab. And I will say, you guys stay with us.
We got some stuff coming
Yeah,
up. Don't tell them yet.
okay, I won't
We
tell
got
them.
some stuff coming
We
up.
have some stuff coming
The Liquor
up.
Lab got me motivated. I'm in
Yeah.
there mixing and sloshing
Yeah,
and
he's-
spilling and all kinds of stuff
shaking
right
it
now.
up
So,
and all
they
of
got
the
me
things.
hyped.
All right, so to get back to it, you know, when you are in a long-term relationship, there are a lot of complexities that can happen in terms of that relationship. And a lot of times when we ask clients, you know, how does your person show up for you? Or Are you getting what you need? Have you expressed to your person what you need in that relationship? 10 times out of 10, I hear, well, they should know.
Right.
And I will speak to myself. You know, in my past relationship, that's something I said. You know, we have been married for a very long time. And so in my mind, you should know what I need.
Right.
You should know what I want. And I didn't tell him because
Right.
I felt like he should absolutely know. I shouldn't have to tell you
Right.
what I want or what I need. Wrong,
Right.
wrong, wrong. And what I'll tell you guys, to me, is that he should know, she should know, is the bullet that'll kill a relationship. Because guess what? They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know. They don't know if you don't tell them.
If you aren't opening your mouth and specifically telling your person the things that you want, need, like, expect, or desire, that's your fault. That's your fault. Okay? We get to a point where we feel like we've been in this relationship long enough. Oh, she should know that I want to eat every time I walk through the door, right? Oh, he should know that, you know, I like flowers on Thursday, or I want him to just surprise me for lunch, you know. And listen, if he did it once or twice and it made you feel a certain kind of way, tell him.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But don't expect for that to continue, because he may say, or she may say, well, it must have been okay.
Right.
Because they didn't express how that really impacted them. You know what I mean? So we get into this thing where we're expecting people to just automatically know. Let's talk about it all, right? I like to be pursued, right? I want this little mountain lion to come get it, right? But if I don't tell him, man, I love it when you just don't even wait. You just, come here, boy. You know what I'm saying? That do it for me.
Right. Right.
But you may think, let me stop, because he might not like that. You know
I
what
might
I'm
be
saying?
doing too much.
I might be doing too much. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? But vocalizing it, you know, now you got your mental chalkboard filled up
Right.
with detailed information that I've shared, right? So now you're not guessing.
You're not guessing. And the other thing I would say is be aware.
Be aware.
You know, one of the things that was important to me is to be the doctor of Corey Jones. And what I mean is I have a PhD in things that are important to him.
Right.
Because I'm aware. I want to crack the code. I want to know the playbook. I want to know it all. And so I am watching what motivates you to do different things. If I say this thing, I get this result. If I approach you this way, I get that result, right? So I'm watching all of that, and anything that I haven't watched, I'm always going to clarify.
Right.
And say, hey, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? We are not as attentive as we should be in relationships. And I want to throw this caveat out there. A lot of people who watch us are parents. Right? You know, you may have children, you may have aging parents, you may have both.
Right.
Right? And a lot of people are pulling on you to do this, you got to do that, you work every day, you got multiple hustles. A lot of stuff is going on that can pull you out of the moment or take up time or steal time away from your person. And what I found a lot of times is that we got to be careful that we don't deprioritize the person that we are in a relationship with and sacrifice them because we are focusing so much on other things, and we feel comfortable deprioritizing our person somewhat because we feel safe.
Right. I got a pen in there. Can you reach in there, little box? Can you get my pen? You can grab a box too. There's a pen inside there.
Okay.
Yep.
But what's
Sorry.
wrong with the pen I got?
Well, never mind. You want to share? We can share.
Oh, we can share. You can stop my
So
flow.
I'm sorry, but nah, you was flowing though. You
Yeah.
was on one. So, but all of that in a nutshell starts to lead to the questions of all these things that make you start seeking outside of the relationship or whatever it is. You know, yes, Dwayne, Mia, midgets, money equals Corey's happiness.
Yes.
You could not be more right. And my children, right?
Right.
So, but we always wonder why these things start to happen. right? Especially when we don't have relationships with understanding, with the green light, because you've established what's okay and what's not okay in your relationship.
Right.
So with all of that said, with this, he should know, she should know, and we're missing these bullet points in our relationship, and we continue to miss these bullet points. Now it leads to outside sourcing, right? One of the primary things that I would say with all this busy lifestyle, sex is one of the biggest things that becomes a sacrifice in relationships, right?
Yep.
You got the kids, you got work, you got this, you got sickness, you got older parents you're dealing with, you got this, you got that.
You got your own health.
You got your own health issue, whatever the case may be. You got all of these issues surrounding, and what we say is, we're tired. Man, we just don't feel like it. Man, when I get into bed, I'm through. If we're willing to give so much time to all of these things that's pulling at us throughout the day, right? We're allowing time to make for extra this. If somebody says, hey, can you meet me for lunch today?
Right.
And you prioritize that and put that on your calendar.
Right.
You made that 45 minutes a priority in your already busy day.
Right.
To get whatever done or to build whatever foundation or relationship, right? Let's understand this. When we're in bed with each other already, 20 minutes.
It ain't 20 minutes for him, but
10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. You mean to tell me we're going to sacrifice that intimate opportunity that we can spend 20 minutes that you're going to be sitting there on your phone anyway, finishing your Candy Crush game, trying to catch up on what you missed on social media that day on all your platforms, responding to some comments or whatever, right? We're going to sacrifice that 20-minute time frame before you actually doze off.
Right.
And sacrifice that moment that your partner is dying for. Because you've trained yourself mentally to think that you're that tired.
Right.
You've trained yourself mentally to really believe that you have no more fuel in the tank to give intimacy.
To your person.
Sex. Let's be specific.
Okay.
To get booty to your person. You're wrong. Because if we don't prioritize each other, then what are we doing? If we're allowing priority for everything else and neglecting that person that you are in battle with every day, in love with every day, entangled with all these details of life with every day, 20 minutes? Wow. It really hit me the other day, man. We were talking and I was like, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
She said, what do you mean? 20 minutes.
Right.
People are willing to screw things up
for 20 minutes
and not prioritize your person and your sex life for 20 minutes. And don't give this sympathy booty.
No. Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that sympathy.
Nobody wants that.
Let's engage.
Be present.
Let's be really, really present, right? Let's really give the details that are necessary to make your person feel fulfilled, and you need to be fulfilled, right?
I agree. Like,
20 minutes.
I don't disagree with that. I also think a bit about folks who, for whatever reason, they have mismatched libidos. And so you might have somebody who wants it all the time and somebody who doesn't want it as often.
Correct.
And that's a discussion, in my opinion, that you truly should have very early in a relationship.
Well, why would you say very early? Because the reason I'm asking that is because if you've been together for a while,
I know
things start to change.
I understand that. But some people, straight out the gate, have mismatched libidos.
Absolutely.
And they don't know that they do, because what if they're in a distant relationship? Right? So when we first started dating, we were in a distant relationship. I was in Arkansas, you were here in Nashville. Well, what if I thought that the only time you needed it was once a month?
Because we had
that's
FaceTime booty.
I needed it. Just stop telling my business. But like, what I'm saying is, what if that's all that I really wanted was like once a month? And you thinking, oh man, she is firecracker,
right.
when really I can give you a firecracker about once a month. Or if you are in, it's not a long distance relationship and you're with somebody to say, I want to wait until we get married. Right. Or I'm a new virgin. Right. So I did it before, but now I don't want to do it again. And that can be a man saying that, or a woman, or them.
True.
It doesn't matter. Gender doesn't matter. That could be a statement that somebody make. I would always say to a person, it take a special person that could go a year, 6 months, and they've already done it. If you ain't never done it, okay. But if you have, and you can not want that for that amount of time, that may tell you about a person's libido, in my opinion. I have no facts, no data to back that up. That is my opinion.
Right.
I just think that's something you need to be kind of aware of.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is, as time moves on, you're in a relationship, your libido does change. For women, they go through menopause. Just even before perimenopause or anything like that, your body changes. You might feel some insecurities that you didn't have when you were 25. Now, you got spread a little bit, and so you're not sure about how your body looks. You got some new wrinkles. My neck old, it drives me insane. You know, you have those kind of things. I don't want to speak on what men may go through for a loss of libido. I can only speak for women. Those things may happen. Childbirth, things like that changes your libido.
Right. And so...
And talk about men.
Right.
Just for
I
a
mean,
second.
men go through the same thing. We got a time limit on that beat. Okay? There's certain things that we have to do to make sure that we stay on top of our on our male aspect of health, right? Because just like you guys with menopause or anything like that, man, sometimes when that clock starts fluctuating on that meat, testosterone, your energy levels, so on and so forth, and then you start to really have to get into a deep dive of checking your health, prostate, having your prostate examined, you know. Having your colonoscopy, you got to find out what's going on. You know, your heart, all those things can play a part in men's deterioration of
and for both
libido.
Mental stress,
Well, when all
anxiety,
that stuff starts to
depression,
really,
all of those things.
When
can
all
have
of that
an
starts
impact.
to tie in together, yes, all that mental compaction of issues start to play and deteriorate the body. Right.
So can I say something? Can I drop a little something in your spirit?
Yeah, because I want to go back to
Everything that we just said is a reason.
Yeah.
It's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
Right? I wanted to make sure we put all of those things on the table because those are reasons.
But it's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
No, it's not an excuse. But what do you do when you have acknowledged these things and you've expressed the importance of your drive and what you need from your partner, and your partner isn't showing up? When is this conversation safe enough to let your partner know, and what is the responsibility of the partner once you've let them know that, hey, something needs to be done? We got to figure it out.
Well, one thing that I'll say is that a promise of monogamy is not a promise of chastity.
No.
Right? So a lot of times when people are thinking we are in this monogamous relationship, we got married, we said to death do us part, good times, bad times, all of those things. And so I'm done with sex. So that means I want you to be done with sex because I'm done with sex. That's not how that works.
No.
That's just not how that works. And so if you are someone who has just decided you're done with it,
We need to talk.
we need to have a conversation.
We need to come to Jesus and say, hey, you may be checked out of the game, but I ain't even in the fourth quarter yet.
Right.
So we have to also understand that the design of your relationship is the design and understanding and agreement of your relationship. I don't care what anybody else thinks about your agreements, which they shouldn't be in your business anyway.
No.
Right?
No.
Whatever you and yours have committed to that works for you guys, let that be what works for you guys. Okay? A lot of people are struggling with understanding what to do because they got so many ideas of what other people think is traditional. There's really no such thing as a traditional relationship.
No, not at all.
I don't care what has been in manuscripts what recipes other people have shared throughout the years. There's no specific design.
And you know, another thing that people in our field do a lot of is talk about how to get that spark back. You know, we have our book that talks about trying to build intimacy in your relationship, audacious intimacy. But there are countless books that are out there about how to get that spark back. And so I do want to put this little caveat out there. Sometime it ain't coming back.
No. And
it's over. It's
yes.
just not coming back. Or somebody wants it back and the other person doesn't want it back.
Right.
The other person is checked out.
But does that necessarily mean they want to check out of the relationship?
No. No, a lot of times they don't want to check out of the relationship, and it might be more of a companionate type of relationship. But, you know, this is the part that y'all might not want to hear.
Let's go.
If you have decided in your relationship that you are done with that level of intimacy, that you are no longer wanting to have a sexual relationship with your person, what do you expect your person to do? I'm not talking about 80-year-old people.
No.
Because honestly, there's a lot of 40-year-olds, right, that we have these conversations with. A lot of 30-year-olds, a lot of 50-year-olds. That 30, 40, 50 group,
Yeah.
that's where that may live sometime, where one person feels like they're done and the other person is not. Now, I'm going to say done in that you just done. You don't want to, not because of a health issue. So let's take health and set it aside for just a moment. You have become asexual. You didn't have a high libido to begin with. And so now you're over it. You just don't want it anymore. In that case, it is time to renegotiate the terms of your relationship.
Right.
In my opinion.
Right.
I think that you have to have a very difficult discussion with your person. And you know your person better than anybody.
Right.
And so you know how the level of hardness that conversation is going to be.
Right.
For some people, it's going to be really, really hard. And it could be relationship ending. For others, it may be a more healthy dialogue, you know. Either way, you have to have the conversation. And I think a lot of times people don't have the conversation because they are operating under the illusion that their relationship is guaranteed. And that is a fool's errand. No relationship is guaranteed. I can tell you this right here, the only reason why me and him will be gone from one another is if I've moved on to another life, right? I'm dead and gone. But I am not going to leave him. I'm not. That's my commitment to my husband. Having said that, what if he fell in love with somebody else? What if something happened? You know,
She's gonna have to move in
she ain't
to the other house.
She ain't.
She's gonna have to, you know.
She ain't.
But it is.
She ain't. but, babe, when you think that your relationship, nothing is gonna damage it, nothing is gonna happen, that is that's an illusion.
That's a setup.
It's a setup.
Yeah, and that goes into what we were speaking about earlier that we learned, you know, invest the most and the best of yourself in your relationship. No one is guaranteed to be with you. It's an illusion of safety. And the other part to that is earn your partner every day. You pay in time, attention, affection, prioritization, and intimacy, you know, and other things. You know, we learned that together. You know, earn your partner, man. Make sure that you're showing up for your partner. You know, make sure that you are checking in and making sure, you know, you're doing your checks and balances on a daily basis. But in earning that, and sometimes these things are lopsided, like we were talking about with the libido, I got a question.
Okay.
What do you do in the case, or how do we handle situations where there's power or someone controlling the power and control with sex?
Well, it's 100% a power move for a person to say, well, I'm over this part of my life and I don't know what to tell you. Right. That's a power move. And
it's
wrong.
And it's wrong.
Dead wrong.
Right.
It's dead wrong. And to me, I do believe you should have a conversation and you should say, what does our relationship look like to you? Because to me, I'm not done with this part of my life. But I care about you. I love you. I love our relationship. I want our relationship to continue, but it can't continue in this way.
Right. You know, I think, like you said earlier, having these hard conversations. In my opinion, or what I see, sometimes these hard conversations say, how do I get satisfied if you're not willing to do it? Mm-hmm. Now it's time to put the big boy and the big girl panties on, right? Because in this situation, we're talking about outside contact with other people, okay? What does that sound like? What is a sound bite with that kind of conversation in your mind?
Well, I think it can go wrong and I think it can go better. So the wrong would be, because a lot of times people have this conversation when they're mad, right?
Wrong
so
time.
it doesn't typically happen in a sit down, hey honey, can I talk to you about something? It happens because a person is trying to get it, and the other person is like, he's like, come on baby, come on, or she may be like, come on baby, come on baby, and man, stop bothering me about this. I told you, man, I don't feel like
Well,
it.
you know what? Mary Ann down the street said I can come over anytime I want to.
That's the wrong way. That is the wrong way. You've been.
And she said, well, Will Earl been handling this. Will Earl done took care of it. You ain't got to do nothing.
Listen, that's the wrong way. That's the wrong way. That's the wrong way. But I mean, it's not the friendliest way.
No,
but the
man.
fact of the matter is, there are Mary Anns around.
Yes, and Mary Ann nasty. Listen, I need for everybody to hear me and hear me well. Y'all need to be hoes for each other. Slut-taculous for one another. Be completely nasty for one another. Because that's what the other person is going to do. They ain't got nothing to lose. So if your husband or boyfriend or whoever, your life partner, ends up messing a wife, girl, and you see the other person like, what? That ugly person don't have nothing to lose. Quit trying to make cute love. Love is supposed to be a beautifully ugly thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Stop being cute.
Tangent. Listen.
My bad. Let me get back. I'm sorry.
Come back.
My bad. I'm back.
Oh, you back?
I'm back.
So here's the thing. I do think you have a relationship. Stop it.
My bad.
You do have a conversation with your person, and you do say, listen, I am not done with this part of my life. So what, in your opinion, would be something that you could live with?
And that's tough. Now, with that being said, a lot of people don't want to know.
Got you a little don't ask, don't tell situation.
Listen, and what that looks like to a lot of people, or what it should look like, don't you mess up your regular scheduled program at your house. Don't start showing up at the house late. Don't you be missing time at home.
But I do think you should. In a perfect world for me, you would tell your person that. Because here's the thing.
Now, what do you mean? Tell your person what?
Well, here's the thing. Infidelity it's a very complex issue. And most people don't think of it in the context of the complexities that exist, right? I do think that you need to have a conversation and say, this is something I'm going to have to do. What is the way that would be best for you, for me to do it? Would you prefer to not know? Would you prefer to know? Would you prefer to start doing something? Like, what are we doing here? And I think you should tell them.
Right.
And I think you should give them a choice, because infidelity is the lie. It's the betrayal.
Right.
You should be able to give me a choice for me to say if I'm okay, if I can manage that type of relationship or not. And if I say I can't, that's when you probably are going to have to do something else.
Right.
And you need to say out loud to them, then I need you to know that I'm not going to stay in this relationship because this is something that is a priority for me.
Right. And that's when that other person in the marriage now feels like the victim.
Well, they ain't
Again,
the
just
victim.
like, exactly. So we got to make sure we understand that person who's decided, I'm not going to do this, you are not the victim if this person has, at that point, to get satisfied somehow. So again, at the beginning, the victim in the affair isn't always the victim in the marriage.
Right. Because the reality is, it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
That happens over time. That happens after you have said something a bunch of times. A bunch of times. You've tried a bunch of times, and you've gotten shut down a bunch of times.
A bunch of times.
And let's talk about what that shutdown looks like.
Power and control with sex.
It is, but baby, it is also hurtful.
Yes, it is.
It is a gut punch.
Both ways.
Both ways. If you are trying to be intimate with your person and they're pushing you away,
Right.
you know, and on the flip side of that, if you are a person that is actively trying, right? You're like, well, no, honey, I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to go outside of that. What do you need from me? And you tell me what you need. And so now I'm trying to do it, but it still ain't enough for you.
Well, you know why? Because you've probably asked for that over and over and over. And it's so weird when people start to actually try and do those things. And it's almost like at that point, you don't really know how to take it seriously.
But that's kind of unfair.
Well, it's not.
It
Because
is.
you set the stage.
I understand setting the stage.
And trying to now reprogram what's been issued over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden, blammo, here it is. Take it, take it, take it. Nah, you know, it's almost two staged at that point. So now
Not
it's going to take.
necessarily.
I'm just telling you.
Okay.
Men, chime in at any time. So at a certain
And women.
point, yes, please. At some point, when all of a sudden somebody now starts to show up, it almost feels weird and it almost feels like it's sympathy.
Well, let me say this.
Well, it does. Ain't almost. It feels sympathy.
Well, I think
Sympathetic.
that there are different times. If I've said I want a divorce and now you want to start doing that,
Yes.
then yes, I understand. I understand what you're saying. But if I come to you, if not you come to me, if I come to you after watching this episode and talk to you,
Hey, Marie.
and I say, hey, I was just watching this episode on Facebook, and they were talking about some things, and I tell you, it got me to thinking, maybe I'm not showing up for you the way I need to. I want to do better. I want to be better,
That's a different approach.
right? So I would tell all of y'all, hit dogs holler, if you are the person that is having this power dynamic where you are using this part of your relationship for punishment or reward, or resentment, or just you don't want to, whatever the case may be. If you are the person that is willing to say, listen, I am recognizing this about me, and I want to have a conversation with you, man, it would be so wrong for you to take that and say, well, no, it's sympathy.
And you're absolutely right. But at that point, there's also a side of you checking out. Because you've wanted it, it hadn't been given. Now this person is coming to you saying, hey, I recognize that. And you've gone through a period, and it's not saying that you don't love or appreciate that. But at some point, you're like, it's not even the same impact.
I want to challenge that person. I want to challenge that person to have a bit of grace. Because, you know, it might not be about sex. It might be about something else I've asked you to do repeatedly.
Right. But
And you haven't, right? I ain't talking about you.
yeah.
You
And
haven't.
probably so. She
Right.
talking about me, y'all.
I'm not talking about you, baby. But let's say there's some things that I wanted from you, and you haven't been doing it for me either.
Right.
But you come to me and you say, hey, I recognize some things about how I'm moving that I don't feel like is fair to you. And I really want to work on doing better. I haven't come to you and brought this up. You come to me out of the blue and say something like that.
Right.
I need to give you some grace. And I need to give you some space to be able to try.
Right.
Right? Now, if we're talking about a relationship where somebody has checked out completely, nothing we say, this book, none of that is going to help. So I'm not talking about the people who have checked out. I'm talking about the people who are still checked in and trying, right?
Okay.
And so for the people that are checked in and trying, if your person comes to
Give
you
'em a
and
little grace.
say, I recognize this is something about myself that I need to work on, you need to be man enough, woman enough to give that person some grace.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's definitely you're absolutely right with that. And I can tell you a lot of times when that person's feeling a little resisted, it's resentment. You know what I mean? It's a lot of resentment. You know, why now? You know, I hear what you're saying, but damn, I got some mental damage here. You know, because over this time, I felt like I wasn't desired by you.
Right.
Right? Over this course of time, I felt like you weren't turned on by me. Like I didn't do it for you. Right? So now we got some healing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because no matter if that person is finally recognized, man, there's been so much time that's gone by that the damage, that car crash kept hitting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that rejection hurts. You know what I mean? And the person that's actually doing it may not even feel like that's what they're doing, rejecting their person. But that's what's happening.
Right.
You know? And now when that person comes back and saying, hey, man, you now have to have both people extending grace. Right? Both sides now, because, hey, you created this person.
Right.
And now you got to give them grace to heal.
You
got to give this person grace to actually make the comeback that they need to make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, as you were saying that, what came to my mind is fair fighting. You know, there's this concept of a fair fight.
I scratched their eyes out.
When you think about a fair fight, I'm not going to call you out of your name.
Right.
I'm not going to talk to you crazy. You shouldn't talk to me crazy. And the conversation should not be focused on you.
Right.
If I want to have a conversation, and this is something that I talk to women all the time about, because in our coaching sessions, I'll tell you, the reason why we do it together is because it's hard to hear something from a man, right? If you're a woman.
Right.
Or you might feel like he's on your side, and vice versa. A man might feel like, well, she's on your side. I don't want to hear what she has to say. So we do that together. So I'm going to speak to women in particular.
And I'm going to speak to us knuckleheads.
Right. What I'll say is own your stuff.
Yeah, man.
Be accountable. When you're trying to figure out what you can do to mend painful things that have happened, damage that has happened in your relationship, do not focus on your person. Don't focus on him. Focus on you. Take some time to do some self-inventory.
Hey, Chas.
So if I'm doing self-inventory, how am I showing up?
Right.
When he leaves in the morning, what is my temperature?
Right.
When he comes home at night, what is the first thing he hears when he comes through that door? You know, things like that. Is it too much to fix his plate?
Right.
Or not, right? Is it too much to say, hey, honey, you look so handsome today?
Yeah, you look so pretty.
Thank you, baby. Is it too much to do those things? I touch him all the time.
She got
all the
handprints on
time.
me. I'm going to get handprints tattooed
right,
on me.
Right, because I'm always just this, and I love you, and this and that,
pat
whatever.
that
I
little booty.
pat all of the things, right? But if I wasn't doing that, you know, am I protecting you the right way?
Right.
You know, am I speaking up for you the right way?
Right.
Those things, how did I sound? How did I look? What was my temperature? I need to do some self-inventory.
You know, with you saying that, it made me really think, we give up so quickly on each other when you have your person, right? But how much grace do you give your family?
Man.
How much grace do people give their family? The family can make them mad, or their best friend can make them mad, and you know, but for some reason you keep them around.
Yep.
And you forgive them, and you never break up with your family.
You don't.
It's very rare that you break up with your whole family.
Right.
Right. Why don't we treat each other like family? You understand what I'm saying? Like, why is it so easy to just quit? If you have committed yourselves to each other, you have literally made each other family. And you don't quit on family.
No.
You extend grace to family.
Yes.
You give opportunity to family. You forgive family. You still love family.
Yes.
You still show up for family.
Yes.
So if you're not looking at your person like family, then what are you doing? Because that person is expendable. Okay? It's not family.
No.
That's an expendable piece of meat.
Right.
They could be gone at any time. So you're not really earning your person every day if you're not considering your person a family.
Talk about for a second what earning somebody looks like to you.
You know, earning to me, and let me make sure that I throw this out there first. I don't want to say work, because when we say work, it's automatic exhaustion, right? Mm-hmm. Earning my person every day is being a better version of me today than I was yesterday for my person.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Making sure that I'm thoughtful today about what is it that she needs from me today. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Am I checking things that I need to check to make sure that she is seeing things the way she needs to see it and being loved the way she needs to be loved? Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. I feel like earning my person every day is making sure that I'm being accountable for my every action.
Accountability is big.
To make sure that I don't infiltrate the peace that we have in our household. Mm-hmm. My shit don't harm my house.
Right.
My shit doesn't fracture your protection, your peace, your mind, any part of you, right? That goes, and if I start here with you, that means everybody on that list is a trickle down. If I'm protecting mama, if I'm protecting the queen, I'm doing all these things, being accountable for my actions and protecting the queen. That means the children are being protected.
Right.
That means the house being protected. The brand is being protected. You know what I'm saying? That part.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I feel like, to me, I earn you by showing up and showing out every single time I need to. You know, every single day, being mindful, being thoughtful, being considerate, being peaceful.
That part.
You know, those are the ways that I believe I have to earn.
Right.
You know, and it's reciprocity here. You know, I don't feel like I am giving something that I don't get in return. I don't feel like I show up for you and you don't show up for me, but I also don't take a tally.
Ooh.
Like, I'm not, well, you didn't do it for me last time,
So I ain't doing it for you.
so I ain't doing it for you this time.
Right,
You know,
right.
I asked you as we were preparing for this, do we have sex enough? Like, I asked you that, and you were like, we good over here. But I couldn't even tell you how often it is, because we're not doing tally marks.
Right.
We're not keeping up with it that way.
Right.
I believe that you should do it every time, anytime, everywhere, whenever you can, however you can. Get it like however you can.
You almost got it a while ago, and you was like, we ain't got time.
We ain't got time.
I was like, we got time.
Right? But you really do have to be willing to show up for your person
Right.
that way. I understand that people have health complications, and so that may be the reason why you're not able to show up in the same way, but go ye to the doctor and figure out what is going on.
There's
and
no
why
excuse.
that is. There is
There's
no
no
excuse.
excuse.
There's not. And if they flat out say that part is over for you because of health complications.
Well, what men can do, they got this thing, it's a pump. You just stand that thing right up. You gotta ask your doctor about it. And it's a little gadget. You can pump it up, and that boy start growing.
But for women, it can be very, very painful.
It can be.
Like,
you got to get creative.
You have to get creative.
Yes.
And I'm just going to say this before we get to our questions for the week. Sex is not always penis and vagina.
No.
Sex is a lot of different things. And most people see, when you say sex, that's the only kind of intimacy that they are thinking about. So there are a number of ways to express yourself through sexual activity that does not look like that. It can be a lot of different ways in order for you to enjoy each other.
Please go to lovejonescoaching.com. We'll talk about all that. You know, we'll talk about different opportunities that you may not have ever thought about.
Right.
You know, to bring more excitement and intimacy in your life and in your relationship that you may not have known. But you know, I can appreciate this conversation, babe, because people need to understand how to establish the baselines of their own relationship, where they are in their relationship. And Robert, I see you on here, man, and big shout out to you and Stacy, one of the most beautiful couples I've ever encountered. Met them when I was really young, in my 20s, really getting life and relationships and understanding together. And I used to watch how Robert and Stacy would just love on each other, man. It was just an amazing thing to see. And it was so authentic, you know, but beyond just that visual love and outpouring of love. You saw the friendship in the relationship. And it was like, man, you know, that right there shows longevity.
Right.
You know what I mean? That right there was almost looking at forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I wanted to make sure that I modeled that when I said, I do. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Because it's important for you to be with that person where you can have these discussions. Where you don't have to be afraid to say, babe, I want a little bit more. Baby, am I showing up? You know what I'm saying? Baby, some things have changed and, you know, we need to talk. You know what I mean?
I putting shea moisture on, cocoa butter. Like, how you showing up? Because that's another thing. You know, sometimes y'all...
Did you say shea butter?
I did say shea butter. I said
how many of y'all
butter.
getting out the shower ain't oil y'all selves? Like, y'all just petty.
Rusty
y'all
butt,
petty.
like you ain't clean
Men put
your
some oil on them
fingernails.
hands.
You coming stinking. You ain't did nothing to your hair. You don't care nothing about none of that.
Y'all
That's
out of
dog.
control.
You like dead wrong. You
Y'all
get into this space where you just ain't showing up cute like you should for your person.
You know, and it's crazy. You did that the other day. You were like, I ain't putting this headscarf on.
I did. I was like, I'm not putting my bonnet on and I'm not taking my makeup off. I want you to be pretty.
All night.
I want to be pretty all night. Right? And he was like, well, baby, you always pretty all night. I was like, I want to be extra.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I just need to show up a certain other kind of way. You know what I mean? And that's just really, really important.
Right.
I want to get to some of these questions.
We're going to jump into the questions, y'all.
Let's see.
Listen, we hope y'all got something out of that. Hey, Sissy, LaToya, you know, we hope you guys got something out of that segment. And there's so much more to be said with those parts. But the biggest thing is let's make sure that it's not a he should, she should. Let's make sure that we're communicating. Don't expect your person to know without you being verbal about it.
Right.
You know, talk.
Yeah.
Say it. Okay. All right.
Okay, here's one that I would like. So Mark found out his wife had an affair, but chose to stay together for their children's sake. So this is what he said. We decided to stay together after her affair, but things feel different. How can we rebuild trust and intimacy in our relationship? One thing that I do want to say, and I want to hear from you on this too, we don't talk enough about the relationships that have survived infidelity. We talk a lot about it blowing up a marriage or blowing up a relationship. We don't talk nearly enough about the people who stay there, work it out, and come out on the other side of that in a healthy kind of way.
Right.
Some of the reasons why we don't is there's so much shame.
Yeah.
For women in particular, we want to be seen. We don't want to look stupid. We don't want to look like, we don't want y'all out here talking about us, all of those things. And so we might not say, yeah, he did something and I stayed, but I think we should, because it speaks to the resiliency of a relationship. But for men, it can be a whole lot harder. So if a man's wife cheated, it can be a lot harder. And you can express that, and then I'll talk about how you can start rebuilding.
You know, women are very resilient. You guys have a level of resiliency when it comes to things like that men don't. And it's a struggle for us. And then I have a term for that. I call us tender dicks. Okay. But that doesn't mean that we should always fall apart with those things, right? That's when we ask the questions.
Right. So Mark decided that he and his wife decided to stay together. And they're trying to figure out how to rebuild that trust and that intimacy. The first thing I'll say is that trust is something that take forever to get and a second to lose.
Yep.
Showing up every single day, every single time in the way that person needs you to is important. But it's also important for Mark not to weaponize that and bring it up every single chance he gets. Well, that's what I was
going to get to, because not only men, but women, we weaponize
that transgression.
Yes, and so now it's staying to beat that person down even more for what they did. You know, we don't get to the root of why.
Right.
You know, Mark may never ask, well, where was I lacking?
Right.
what was I not doing? And he may not even go to the accountability chamber and say, you knew you weren't doing these things that she was consistently asking you for. You knew that she asked you for more intimacy. You knew that she wanted you to hug and kiss her. You knew that you were pushing her away when she was snuggling up to you at night, wanting to lay close to you. You knew when. So Mark has to also recognize the things that he was slacking on, right? Now, I'm not going to put it all on Mark because she had a decision to make and she did what she wanted to do, right? But at the same time, each party has to step back and do a self-examination. You know, where am I missing the mark?
Right.
Mark.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where the bullseye was right here and I'm way right or I'm way left, right? How did I miss the target?
Right. And I also think, you know, when you're talking about rebuilding that trust, do things that are trustworthy often, right? So if you say you're going to do something, always keep your word. Right. Start building trust that way. If you say you're going to go to the Christmas party, go to the Christmas party. Don't let other things pop up. But always continue to show up and be honest in everything that you're doing. I'll also say, don't be looking in her phone. Don't be doing all of that stuff. And for women, don't be looking. Yeah. First of all, you can't use it in court and it's illegal. You're going to jail. Federal. Right? It's a federal crime to be going through somebody's phone. But also, don't break your own heart. Well, because I don't think you have to go looking for it, you know. Yeah,
and the thing about it, you know, we as men specifically, when a woman does that, it impacts us differently. You know, we
talk about it.
Well, I'm telling you, you know, the level of trust, our ego is crushed.
Women's egos are crushed too.
I get that. And I'm not trying to compare apples to apples. I'm just telling you about us.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, men, we're not fortified mentally. Our hearts aren't built the same way y'all's are built. Our minds aren't built the same way y'all's are built. We are ego driven a lot of the time. And when a man encounters that kind of impact where another man was actually in your space most of the time, one of the biggest things that we face is, was his dick bigger than mine? Did he do it differently than me? And did you like it? How many times? Well, if you did it 3 times, it must be real good. You understand what I'm saying? So now that man is challenged with his manhood.
So how do you build trust and intimacy in that scenario?
Oh, Lord. Do everything together. Do everything together. Brush your teeth together. Shower together. Drop her off at work. She don't even need a car no more. I'm telling you, for a man to rebuild that kind of trust, it takes a long time. And I'm not saying, ladies, that it don't take that kind of time with you guys, because damage is damage, right? And no matter, you know, male or female. But speaking on the man's behalf, it is way bigger impact to us, because to us, we are the king of that pride. That is mine, you know, very territorial, right? And when that is defiled, if you will, you know, the destruction is so internal, you know, to a man. It's so mental to a man that it's hard for most men to come out of it. So it's going to take a lot of counseling. It's going to take a lot of therapy, a lot of repetition, right? A lot of showing up if they're working together for that woman to really show him, you know, that, hey, I did what I wanted to do. Probably shouldn't have. We've reconciled these things. We've discussed it. You've come clean and saying, hey, I recognize where I fell short. You fell short. The consistency and the repetition is the only thing that repairs that trust at that point.
I would also say for her, she absolutely, well, for both of them, they absolutely need to put everything on the table.
And you ain't drunk none of your drink.
No, stop. Stop, because I'm talking.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, I really do believe that that's when you need to put everything on the table and be really, really transparent and honest, so that you can start rebuilding from a very authentic foundation versus, you know, the performative kind of situation you were in before. You know, you need to go on and say it all, put it all out on the table, and you need to have patience. And understand that this is going to take some time, and you need to be willing to deal with it. You got to deal with the fact that you broke that trust. You got to deal with the fact that you betrayed your person. You got to deal with it for yourself.
And both of them need to deal with the fact that they both betrayed each other.
Yes.
Somehow.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead.
All right, let's see how much time we got. 6 minutes. So
6 minutes. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Dougie Fresh.
let's see. All right. Want that one?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, go ahead.
Oh. Sarah discovered her husband has been texting another woman flirtatiously. I caught my husband flirting with someone else over text. We have 2 kids, a stable life together. Should I confront him or try to ignore it for the sake of our family? You go ahead, ma'am.
I would say ignore it if you don't care.
She can.
Well, I mean, if you care, then you can't ignore it.
Well, she the one sent us the question.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you choose to ignore it, then you are saying that right at this moment, you got bigger fish to fry.
I don't agree.
And you don't care. Well, baby, we don't always agree.
I know, but go ahead.
I will say that if you do decide that you want to have a conversation and you do want to talk to him about it, ask the question. I will also say, be prepared for whatever the answer is. Because a lot of times people ask questions, they go digging, and they not really prepared or want to know what the real answer is, right? They want you to tell them what they want to hear. And so if they don't tell you what you want to hear, your life is in shambles. That you want them to defend it. So what if you ask your husband, who is this woman you're texting and what is this about? And he says, well, it's somebody that I'm kind of interested in. And, I love you. I love our relationship, but,
that wouldn't be the time.
This is giving me, well, people are stupid. And so he could say something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
People are stupid. So he might feel bold enough to say, hey, it made me feel wanted. And sometimes I want to feel alive. I want to feel desired. I want to feel wanted. What you gonna do with that?
Right. It's going to be a bullet to the heart for sure, getting that type of information so abruptly and so bluntly, should I say. But going back to what you said, if she should probably just, not say anything or confront him if she's not ready to do anything about it. Mm-hmm. But if she didn't care, it wouldn't be in conversation. Mm-hmm. And I have to look at this type of situation and say, maybe she just wants an audience to vent to, right? Maybe she's not ready to approach it, and maybe she's feeling, well, maybe am I just being a little too insecure?
Well, do you think she should confront him?
If you have question, always confront in my mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you got a question, put it out there.
Right.
It's important for you to get the answers you need. Mm-hmm. Not the answer you desire,
right,
but the answers you need. So if you're willing to ask the question, be willing to accept the answer that's given. Mm-hmm. So to me, in this situation, she's afraid to approach the question because she may not feel safe enough. She may not know or be ready for the answer that she hopes not to get. What you just, spoke on, him saying, yes, this is another woman.
Because he probably ain't. He gonna be like, no, that's the old girl from work. Ain't nothing going on there.
Right, and that's probably his work wife, which is a problem.
Problem. Speak on it, baby.
The work wife, the work husband, man, y'all quit that mess. That should not even be a title that exists.
Right.
Unless it's a little person.
No.
I'm looking for an assistant right now.
No.
Because my assistant right now, my boy, tall, man.
No.
But all this work husband, work wife stuff, man, y'all cut that out, man. Because it's disrespectful to call somebody else that title specifically.
Right.
You know what I mean? Call them something else. And they shouldn't even feel like they're in that position any daggone way.
I think that if you, because we always talk about
Man, some of your
giving.
drink. I like the drink. She ain't drinking it. I'm gonna drink it right now. I'll save something. I'll make another one.
Anyway, one
Liquor
thing
Lab, thank you. Y'all taught me some stuff and I'm digging it.
when we talk about how you have safe conversations with somebody, we always say you want to have safe spaces, you want to have brave spaces. So theoretically, you would want her to say, listen, I've noticed that you've been texting somebody and it is making me feel uncomfortable. I don't know who it is. I don't know what it's about, but it makes me feel away. And I need to express that to you. Please talk to me and let me know what's happening. Is this something I need to be concerned about? What's going on? If a person comes to you that way, you need to be able to tell the truth. Whatever that truth is.
You should be able to tell the truth. But if you stepped in that lion's den before and you got your head bit off, you're going to be reluctant to be honest, right? So that's going to be a situation where has this person given you that safe space to be brave before, right? And if that hasn't been the issue, they're going to lie. Most likely, they're going to lie, okay? Because what they're doing now is going into full preservation mode. I am not about to screw my house up because I want to hit that thing, right? I ain't wanting to leave for that thing.
So what would you say?
If I was who?
I'm saying to you, if somebody came to you
and asked me that question, I'm going to ask them the same thing you asked. Who is this? What is this? And what are you going to do with it?
Well, if I asked that question that way to you, what would you say? Would you feel safe in that space?
Well, with our dynamic, it's different. Right, our dynamic is different.
Yeah, let's take away our dynamic. But if you, let's say I haven't bitten your head off in the past. Right. This is the first little hiccup we've had. And so I'm coming to you this way. You don't have any experience with me acting a donkey.
So I got to do checks and balances. Well, baby, am I not showing up? Right? Is it me? Is it a me issue? Or is it a you issue and you just got a wild hair? Right? Now, if it's a wild hair, now where are we placing this? Is it something you just need to get off your chest? Is it something that you need ongoing? Right? Where are you going with this? Because I got to get his brother some bills. He got to take some notes.
Well, no. What I'm saying, if you are the person that's receiving that question, if I'm saying in a nice way,
you telling me,
I'm telling you, hey, I noticed that you're texting somebody.
Oh, if you,
yes.
Oh, no.
What do you say in that scenario?
Well, she's about 4'6".
Give real understanding, sir.
No, I mean,
what is the right way to answer that question?
The right way to answer that question is this is who she is. Okay. And yes, we've been texting. If something has happened, are you ready to receive the information that I'm about to give you? You are? Well, baby, this is what's been going on. Y'all give me a second. Let me fix this.
TikTok always.
TikTok be challenging me. Okay.
There you go.
So I got to ask you, are you ready for the information you're going to receive? Right? And if you are, then I got to proceed with giving you my brave truth. Right? That brave truth may be, we've been kind of flirting. Nothing has happened. Or, we kind of, we met her in the Burger King bathroom and did the Humpty dance. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think at that point, I need to reassure. This is nothing or this is a thing.
So I could feel like, hey, listen, that's not okay. I don't want you to talk to this person. I don't want you to text them because that's not what I signed up for. I told you what's important to me.
Right.
And if this is coming to my attention, that means that you are doing this you're not doing
reckless.
this well. You're very reckless. So if it's touching me, because you're telling me it's not a big deal, but it's touching me.
It made it to me.
It made it to me. So
I don't want that to continue.
Right.
Okay. Well, what would you like?
I want that to stop.
What part of it?
All of it.
You don't want me to do nothing with her?
Nope.
But she real nasty.
I don't care.
She does some things.
Well, you tell me what those things are, but you can't do that anymore because you don't know how to do this the right way.
So in that situation,
this is wrong. What we giving is wrong because this is what we would do.
But I think people need to have options.
Yeah.
Right? So my thing at that point is, okay, I got to look at my level of importance. Is my wife more important than this thing? Right? This feeling, this moment, these optional things over here.
Right.
Right? So if that's not superseding my peace, my luxury of life, my satisfaction at home, my peace of mind at home, my relationship, my friendship, then I got to honor what's been asked of me.
Right.
Right? Because I screwed it up.
Right.
I let the cat out of the bag. I didn't do my dirt properly, if you will. You know, I was reckless. I was disrespectful for allowing this to hit the surface.
Right.
Okay.
Now, what if it ain't nothing? That's just old girl from work and she texting you about work stuff. You know what I mean? Y'all just friends. It ain't nothing going on. You hadn't done anything wrong.
I need to tell you, that's the old girl from work. She talking about I ain't do the quantity on them boxes right. You know what I mean?
And if that's the answer, and that's the honest answer, I need you to let that be the answer. Because a lot of times people do work with other people, different genders, whatever the case may be. So you need to accept the answer that you get. Until you get something that shows you something else,
shut up, leave it alone.
Whatever answer you get, that's the one you need to go with until you get some kind of indication that that's not
all it is.
That's not all it is. It's something else going on.
And don't be hunting for nothing. Y'all leave it alone. If she done told you, hey, that's just my boy from work, he cool, we do a lot together at work, we stay on point together, we communicate a lot, man, don't be interrogating that girl.
Right.
Leave it alone.
Right.
Now, she come home smelling like condom.
It's condom has a smell.
Yeah, that lady says you can tell. Man, we about to get out of here, y'all.
Listen. Okay, so couple of things. Number one, this month we will be having a vision board party. More to come there. We'll let you know. We're very, very excited about it. We want singles. We want couples. So you should have the Eventbrite tomorrow, I believe. It'll be later on this month. So we're very excited about that.
Right.
Please make sure that you guys go on to lovejonescoaching.com and order your book, sign up for sessions. That's the book right there. Or you can buy it on Amazon. He's so silly. If you have questions for us, and a lot of people have had questions for us, and thank you to everybody who has been emailing us questions and sending them to our inboxes. You can send it to info@lovejonescoaching.com.
What up, Brian?
If you would like to email us a question, you can also text us your questions at 615-979-1241. And
man, you can
go into our
DM
inbox.
us.
You can DM us.
Yeah,
So
man.
however you want to do
Get
it.
me in the DM. I don't be getting DM'd enough. I want to be stalked on the DM with some questions.
Don't get somebody hurt.
I ain't gonna get them hurt. I'm gonna answer questions. You know what? It's cool seeing my cousins on there. I ain't even met Brian yet, but Brian be on there,
Hi,
dog.
Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you,
man.
Brian.
That's so cool. Now I got cousin Big Mama and them had a whole lot of cheering.
They did. They did.
Man.
All right, y'all. Until next week.
Yes.
We will see you then. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, and follow. Please go over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
You'll have the whole episode.
Go
You
to
can back
YouTube
to
and subscribe. We need subscribers. Subscribe, like, share, all the things. If y'all digging what we doing, let everybody know that they need to tune in on Sundays at 7:30 to hear these two crazy light-skinned lovebirds tell y'all the business. You know what I mean? We want to keep doing this, man, but we can't do this without y'all support. We appreciate it, man. This is so fun because you guys help us with content that we actually utilize with each other.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We talk about these things every day. And so it's just a real cool journey. So unless you want to take a drink.
I
Ain't
do.
that something?
I'm through
Ain't that
talking.
something? Ain't that something? But listen, dog, we out of here. We love y'all. Show us some love back. Y'all share this content. And until next week, and the information about that vision board party with Keena Sadler.
Yes.
And I think Portia gonna be involved.
Yes.
I'm gonna get Dwayne Crockett and them and the
Yes.
whole SNC crew involved.
Yes.
Everybody gonna be there, so you better
Everybody.
be there. It's going down.
It's going down.
Yeah. And we out of this.